What's going on, movie fans, and welcome to my review of Top Gun Maverick. This is, well, quite obviously the sequel to Top Gun, which came out in 1986. 36 years ago. We've now got a sequel. So there you go. So, this film sees the return of Tom Cruise in the role of Pete Mitchell, aka Maverick, who in the first film was, well, I was going to say the best of the best, but he kind of wasn't, was he? Because Kazansky, aka Iceman, was better than him in the end. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. So, 36 years later, this is kind of a real-time sequel. Pete Mitchell has been refusing to rank up in the Navy. He's still a captain all this time later. And so, yeah, Tom Kazansky, aka Iceman, who is now an admiral in the Navy, he calls upon Maverick to come and teach a whole new school of students, because there's a mission coming up, like a really, really super important mission to blow up a uranium deposit refinery place. And yeah, it's a really precarious mission. And so, yeah, Kazansky's out of commission now. We'll get to that in a minute. So yeah, Maverick has to come in, teach a whole new gang of students, and in the meantime, there's a bit of dramatic conflict because, of course, look, I'm going to say some spoilers for the first film because if you haven't seen it by now, 36 years later, you had it coming. So in the first film, of course, Maverick's co-pilot Goose, played by Anthony Edwards, he gets killed in the middle of the film, and it really affects Maverick in a big way, and that's kind of the driving thing of why he doesn't want to rank up. But in amongst this new group of students is Goose's son Bradley, who obviously there's some conflict there, which I'm not going to touch upon because that's all in the film. You can see it for yourself. But that's basically what this film is about. So, yeah, it was directed by Joseph Kosinski, who in the past has given us such films as Tron Legacy, which that kind of had a split with audiences, but I personally really dug that film. I loved the tone of it. It kind of had a dreamlike, depressing kind of a tone, and yeah, I thought it was a really well-directed film. But normally when you get a film like a sequel 36 years after the first one, which doesn't happen too often, it's sometimes not a good sign, and so going into this film, I was kind of like, I just don't know if it's going to be that good. Like, the trailers looked okay, but, who knows from trailers these days. Walking out of that film, I honestly would say this is up there with the best action films I've seen in this century so far. My God. This movie is extraordinary, and I'll get into all the reasons why. So, first of all, in terms of an improvement over the first one, I'm struggling to think of a sequel, that actually did this much of a better job than the first film. And I know people can throw at me examples like Aliens over Alien or Terminator 2 over Terminator. There's an endless list, but like, all those films had a really good film before it. Top Gun is not that great a film, in my opinion. I rewatched it recently, and yeah, like, it's extremely wafer thin in terms of plot. The characters are just not really that well developed at all, and the dialogue is absurd. I'm not even kidding. Like, it's basically every character in the film speaks in quotable one-liners. Like, there are so many one-liners in that film. And I even remember, because yes, I am old enough to have seen the original in the cinemas, and I remember for like a year afterwards, my sister was just constantly quoting from the film, not just the Need for Speed thing, but like, I cracked myself up, and it got too much. But look, in its time, though, that film worked. I mean, it came out in a time when audiences didn't care that much about character development and, things that we like now. People just, if you had, like, action spectacle coupled with a great soundtrack and an ad for Ray-Bans, you had a hit movie on your hands. Yeah, whereas now, looking back, it's not that great. Top Gun Maverick, it takes all the things that were good about the first film and it just runs with them and escalates everything. This time around, we've got really good characters. The whole new group of fighter trainees. Like they were all really interesting. They all had kind of unique, interesting personalities and stuff. In terms of the story, it's so much better. Like, this time around, the third act, like the actual mission, is so heart-poundingly tense because you're really on board with everything that's going on. Everything that's led up to it. And it was brilliantly set up by the first two acts. The dialogue was way better written this time around. It's not just... I mean, I can't even think of a single one-liner that could be, quoted from this movie non-stop for a year by me or my sister. We have a really good cast. Like, Jennifer Connelly is in this as a character named Penny, who has a history with Maverick. Miles Teller, who is a great actor. He is in this one as Bradley Bradshaw, which is a bit of a strange name, but anyway, Goose's aforementioned son, I just love the fact that they made this guy look so much like Goose. Like, he had the same mustache and the Hawaiian shirt and everything, and it was just like such a great throwback. We've all, in terms of some of the other major actors, John Hamm was in this as a character. I don't remember his name, but his call sign was Cyclone, and he's kind of Maverick's, higher up officer, like, the guy telling him what to do sort of a thing. But he wasn't like a cartoon character like they were in the first film. So, he was really good. But going into it, I was wondering how they were going to handle Val Kilmer's role in this. I'm not going to talk too much about it because it's the kind of thing that a lot of people are going to want to see for themselves. But if you've seen things like the documentary Val, you'll know that Val Kilmer is suffering from, I think it was like throat cancer, or it's got him so bad that the guy can barely speak anymore. Like, it was so heartbreaking to see. And I was really curious as to how they were going to have his character in this. Like, were they going to do the whole CG thing and, have him look normal or whatever and stuff. But, I won't say what they did, but all I will say is that, oh man, it was heart-wrenching. Like, the scene where Maverick and Iceman are reunited and everything, like, knowing what's going on with Val Kilmer and stuff, like, it was just tear-inducing. It really was. Very bittersweet, because, like, I mean, who knows how many more films Val Kilmer has got left in him, So, that was a real joy to see him back in this. But, look, like I said, the third act, like, everything leading up to it was great, but the third act is just what makes this film shine. It has the best aerial combat footage I've ever seen in a film, and it's real. Everything in this is real. There's a little wink to one of the more sillier kind of things they did in the first film that was physically impossible, but this time around you actually get to see it for real, and oh man, it was so great. There are a lot of nods to the first film. Again, I don't want to, because I sort of had something spoiled for me a little bit about the beginning of the film. I'm not going to talk about it, but you got like a beach sports scene. There's, but this time around it actually has a purpose, which is what I mean. Like, everything that they sort of took from the first film, they like made it so much better. About the only thing that I really could criticize the film on, and it's kind of minor, even though Jennifer Connelly's character Penny was really good, and she performed it really well, her scenes were entertaining, but realistically, if you edited out every scene that she was in, it wouldn't change the story in any sort of way. At the end of the day, her character really served not much of a purpose in the film. I get why she was there, because Maverick kind of has this thing where, you know, he doesn't want to progress, and I wouldn't say he's got a death wish, but, you know, he's just got this kind of like defeatist attitude. And I get that her character was there to sort of give him something to, you know, to aim for and to look forward to, but it wasn't done very well. And yeah, like I said, if she wasn't in the film, it wouldn't have changed things. But that being said, like, yeah, her scenes weren't boring in any sort of way, which would have brought it down a bit more. But yeah, you know, she was still fun to watch and everything. So it's a very minor criticism. But yeah, look, overall, this film is just such a solid action movie. Definitely worth seeing on the biggest screen possible. And it surprises me to say, but I'm going to give Top Gun Maverick a 9.5 out of 10. So there you go. Yeah, like I said, it just wasn't quite perfect. It was really almost there. But yeah, this is an absolutely amazing film. It really, yeah, I just cannot wait to see it again. It's also going to benefit from rewatchability. I'm going to buy it day one when it comes out on Blu-ray. There is no doubt about that whatsoever. So yeah, when this movie comes out, make sure you go and see it. And in the meantime, thank you very much for watching my review of Top Gun Maverick, to all three of you, because, you know, yeah, no one watches reviews anymore, but that's fine, because this is a movie that I really wanted to talk about. So, yeah, look, if you've been lucky enough to see it early, let me know what you think. If you're catching this review down the track after you've seen it, let me know what you think. Yeah, let's talk Top Gun Maverick, because, yeah, I want to know what people think. So yeah, like I said, thank you very much for watching this review. Make sure you comment either here, Facebook or Twitter. All the social media links are in the description below, because I like to talk about movies and I would love to talk about movies with you. I'll catch you next time.
Click subscribe to stay up to date with all the latest movie reviews. Skynet will be taking over any day now, so what have you got to lose? Nyah.